let us all do we can to build a better future.
So with that being said, let's go start with our first segment of the day. And I think that this will not only get Daniel Lupker to laugh, Kira to laugh out loud, but for also to show all of you that, again, corporate media was nothing more than a waste of our time. And the thing is, you have people running a large media network that have no idea what they're doing. Because CNN Plus is going down the toilet with only what? At the max, 180,000 subscribers? Daniel Lupker.
No, 18,000.
18,000.
You're adding an extra zero.
Oh, well then.
You're giving them an order of magnitude more than they deserve.
Oh, well, there we go. All right, thank you for the correction. Because the thing is, Daniel, after this article, I would like for you to explain to our viewers the mathematics in regards to how they would actually, what CNN would have to pull in to make sure they could stay relevant. So CNN Plus may be a warning sign for streamed news. CNN's new streaming service, CNN Plus, is off to a slower, is off to a,
I love that in any other, if it was any other app, it'd be failed.
Yes, so off to a slower start than executives at the network had hoped, raising new questions. Let me stop that video.
You'd be real funny about this.
Raising questions that should have already been raised.
Yes, so raising new questions about the future of the paid subscription base. Go ahead.
It's like, don't worry, it's really slow. All the people that are trying to pay for it are still walking to their purse to get their credit cards.
And more broadly, how much consumers are willing to invest in stream news. The launch of CNN Plus is just the latest push by a major cable provider into streaming as industry insiders and network leaders prepare themselves for a future increasingly characterized by cable cord cutting. CNN has played down reports of a stumbling start to its multi-million-dollar investment in streaming, saying it is pleased with how the launch has gone, and dismissing early reports suggesting the new venture is in trouble as premature. After only 3 weeks of being available to customers, CNN Plus is one of the top news subscription services on the market, a spokesperson for the network told The Hill. This week, we remain very happy with...
Say that again? Say exactly that quote again.
For the people in back. After only three weeks, that's 3 weeks of being available to customers, CNN Plus is one of the top news subscription services on the market.
So you are a multi-billion-dollar company. You've put $250 million into this app, and you're not the most downloaded. Because he would have said the most downloaded. He'd say top, which could mean top 5, top 10.
So can you also explain to our viewers about the difference between, again, being a top 5 and downloading? Like, what's the significance of downloading?
Oh no! Just the point is that if your thing is that big, oh my God, you're a multi. Imagine if Disney Plus, I don't know if Disney Plus exists on an app. It probably does. Maybe it doesn't. But let's say let's say it didn't, and Disney Plus comes out and they go, hey, on your Android and iOS, you can download this subscription app. And you'll get to watch all our catalog of movies and TVs and whatever. That's going to be the #1 most downloaded app on both stores for weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But that's just logic. So my point is that CNN's like, we haven't failed. Our app just hasn't won yet because it's one of the top apps. The fact that it has just been released and it's still one of the top apps is, they always phrase things in a way that's the most advantageous to them.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're saying it's one of the top means it's not doing well.
Mm-hmm. Now, continuing on, but Axios on Tuesday reported that all plans for external marketing spending for CNN Plus has been halted by the newly formed Warner Media Discovery conglomerate after it only obtained more than 150,000 subscribers. Its goal is to have 2 million subscribers within the first year. So, the network had planned to spend a reported $300 million on launching the service, including a sizable marketing investment that featured commercials on cable, plugging top talent it had poached from rival networks like Fox News, NBC in recent months. Time Warner's sale to Discovery certainly complicated the launching of CNN Plus, as did the ousting of Jeff Zucker as CNN's president due to a personal conduct scandal. Surprise, surprise, another scandal at CNN. Mm-hmm. Personal conduct, by the way.
Well, and what's surprising is, if I remember correctly, this is the only time in this report where they talk about basically CNN's reputation insofar as the fact that it's propaganda and mostly that it props up the Democratic Party. And I'm surprised I'm not surprised, maybe, that that's not a consideration of these folks who are looking at this situation and saying, oh, it's because what was one of the reasons no one has demonstrated in the news space what this really is, right? Or like all of these reasons, that like they're giving for the not so good start of the CNN app are their reasons, certainly, but like
They do exist.
they do exist as reasons, and I think that there's a very glaringly obvious. There was a quote in it. Let me see if I put it in here. No, I didn't, but it said something like, everybody knows everybody has an idea what CNN is known for. Mm-hmm. And I was like, propaganda, propping up the Democratic Party, blah, blah, blah. And then I went on to read the rest of the quote, and it said something like, breaking news. And I was like, oh,
no,
that's
right.
not what I was thinking, but okay.
They're right. They break the news.
No. Oh, wait.
Breaking news.
Who can forget when good old Don Lemon was wondering, did a black hole swallow up an airplane?
That was the day I'm like, this is it. There's this black and white now. I don't like them. Also, I just did some basic math. So it costs them about $250 million to do all this thing. And they have 150,000 that they say are paid downloads, which, okay. I still think the number is still relevantly small. I did the quick math. They have made back 0.3% of their investment.
Wow. That is very pathetic for a news industry, for an authoritative source that YouTube and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram like to favor.
Okay, let's assume that people stick with the app. That's the other thing. It's a new thing. Everyone will try a month, just like with anything else.
Yeah.
So let's so 150,000. It's $5.99 a month. Mm-hmm. By the way, we're never going to get also real numbers on CNN because they can go, oh, we got all these new subscribers, which is why I'm questionable about that number, whether or not that's the CNN app or was it post-merging. Because if it's post-merging, that's very disingenuous. But that means that they've made $898,500 in total revenue for their opening. The time that's like, when we put out a video on YouTube, it's that first day or so that is the most time that you're going to accrue viewers. And then everything after that, just a slow tapering off of momentum. So if in their first month, the time they're supposed to have the most momentum, they are able to break in 0.3% of the total amount spent. Now, granted, this seems like a 5-year spread that they've invested a lot of this money in and got ripped off by app designers. I mean, there's no question. But if we just make it like 1 year, that's 50 million a year. Even if they can't make it's not enough.
Well, what's also amazing is if you actually look at their numbers from Q1 of 2022, which just ended, they had an audience on average less than 1 million viewers at 857,000 viewers, which is 56% down from their 2021 numbers. And just for a little bit of context, Fox News finished off with 2.554 million average viewers. And this is all according to Nielsen. And then MSNBC finished the quarter in second place with 1.205 million viewers. And 857,000 was where CNN came in. Like, that is embarrassingly low comparatively.
Can you imagine if all bar and restaurant owners shut off CNN? They'd have no viewership left.
Or the locker room in the gym.
So the thing is, here's the thing. Also, what's going to be ending CNN Plus is the talent that they brought in. So let's talk about this. CNN promoted its new service by making splashy hires like anchors Chris Wallace from Fox News and Casey Hunt from NBC. It rewarded some of its well-known and long-standing hosts on cable like Don Lemon, Wolf Blitzer, and Brian Seltzer with daily or weekly shows. So, those are three that are always going to bring in the views. Good old Lemonhead, Wolfie, and good old Seltzer himself, who constantly keeps on getting owned by everyone when the fact that they keep bringing up the fact that CNN is a propaganda outlet, very similar to Fox News.
He's like, what? No, we're not. And I was paid a lot of money to say that.
Right. So, again, look, in the long run, what does this mean for CNN Plus? It's going to probably end up like Quibi. Everyone remember that one?
Oh, yeah.
Everyone remember that little app?
Technically, I have no idea what you're talking about, Kit. Why did you explain with this weird Quibi? It can't do something so stupid as trying to, like, watch parts of movies vertically on your phone designed for people to use while they're online. That concept is stupid. They clearly didn't do something like that.
Well, what CNN Plus is doing, maybe not to that level, but here's why I'm comparing it to Quibi. CNN Plus is assuming that regular people right now, that's people like us, are right now struggling to make ends meet, are willing to pay the ridiculous subscription costs so that they can, watch CNN News. But at the same time, too, CNN Plus has to pay its talent. Remember what we said on the show, a lot of these pundits have a six-figure salary, and they're used to such a posh lifestyle. And not to mention, living in New York City, it's not that cheap, my friends.
No, it's not.
So the thing is, CNN Plus is going to be hemorrhaging money. And in many ways, what's probably going to happen if they choose to keep with CNN Plus, that means CNN, in order to make sure that ship doesn't sink, is going to have to throw in more money to make sure CNN Plus is relevant. But the thing is, let's have democracy in this chat, folks. Let's have democracy. Really, let's ask ourselves, are there people out there that would really want to spend more money to watch more private news behind a paywall, or would they rather spend it on something else? Type 1 if you think really people would watch CNN Plus and waste their time on it. Type 2 if you know people will actually spend their money on something else. Because CNN Plus and CNN as a whole are assuming that people will continue to pay for something. If it's not interesting, or if CNN Plus is more of the same of what you see on CNN, why waste your time?
I'm going to also read, this is to go for the numbers.
Their money and time.
So this is
great with
that
Kira.
They sold 150. Again, I still want to know exactly if that's before they merged with it. But I have this. I'm looking at a CNBC article, which so you know it's true, that says that the app is actively only less than 10,000 people a day are actively using the app.
That's not good.
That's not saying that, you have a bunch of people. That's why the number I was quoting earlier was like 18,000 subscribers. Mm-hmm. Because again, when they say that, and we know that like as soon as Discovery bought the app, they're immediately like, no, shut this down. We made a bad decision. And then CNN's like, it was slow. We're working on it.
Mm-hmm. So in other words, Daniel, to your best guesstimation, what would CNN Plus really need to bring in then?
Viewers, every good content, good reporting. Here's the other problem. Here's the biggest problem they have with their market is CNN. This is like all of the mainstream audiences. The news audience on TV is like almost 70. It's if it's NBC, it's like 68. CNN's like 70. Fox is like 72. So it's a demographic of people that, generally speaking, and just in terms of broad numbers, don't use smartphones as much. And so CNN, when they make this app, you have to think, who are they making the app for? Is it for the audience that already has like I said, like if CNN shut down tomorrow, all that would happen is a lot of people would have to buy new TVs because they'd finally have a static channel they couldn't change because their TV's broke. You know what I mean? Their remote's missing. But that part is if you're making an app, generally speaking, for people under like 45. I mean, that's kind of the marketplace. So CNN, a channel that of all the big three, no one watches anyway. They have no one watch. I love how they're like, we'll get 2 million. Think about that. They said we have 800,000 viewers at any given time, but we're confident we'll have 2 million paid viewers. Mm-hmm. What are they expecting the restaurants to do? Pay for the app as well? It's like literally, tell me like that like a quarter of CNN's entire viewership is not restaurants.
Yeah, who made that projection and what were they what reality were they grounding themselves in?
It's probably the same people that with the political campaigns. Hey, sir, you have to buy TV ads. I get paid 5%. I mean, it's a good deal. And so everyone's agreeing that this looks doomed. It's looked to fail. But I think a big thing to remember is CNN is technically entering a meritocracy. To some degree. Apps are, but they're relatively even and fair in terms of who, getting access. As long as they're not being shut down or blocked, they're pretty much accessible to anyone. So CNN is acting in terms of numbers. Like, here's the thing I think CNN forgot. I think a big thing that they did was they went to their YouTube numbers and they said, we're doing really well on YouTube. And I think that the people that looked at those numbers forgot why they're doing well on YouTube. It's not because people love CNN and can't wait to watch it on YouTube every time they turn it on. It's because they're the default news source for YouTube, along with CNN, Fox, ABC, NBC, CBS, etc.
Yeah.
Those are your authoritative sources. So they're like, we're amazing. We're doing so well. Not knowing that 95 or 100% of all suggested content for news is going to them artificially. And so they look at the YouTube numbers and say, we can do that. That's easy. Look at our YouTube numbers. The old model for TV's dying. We're only getting it should be no issue. But they forgot that it's artificial.
True.
That's a devastating point.
Yep. So there we go. I want to give the final word to Where Pilgrim. Even Netflix is having some trouble. They're losing subscribers and considering adding ad-based tier and cracking down on password sharing. Boo, Netflix. And what hope does CNN Plus have? LOL.
I think Netflix lost like $160 billion over the last 4 months.
Yeah.
Well, anyways, Netflix, stop cracking down on those passwords. People are working out for each other. Stop that, Netflix. Anyways.
Yeah, I didn't hear how much, but I heard that they had a big.
Well, they lost.
I know it was the first time in like a decade that they actually
You know what's crazy?
Went down.
Netflix's first time in a decade where they've had a drastic growth. That's because there's so much competition. They still lost less money than CNN.
Dan with the final
Something we
punch.
can
There
all
we go.
feel good about.
There we go. Hey, it's a feel-good story. Hey, first time ever, Heartlands Media. One of the few
It was
times.
the first time ever.
Yeah,
I
no,
wouldn't say
first time
that.
ever. Yeah, but
We do some feel-good stories.
One of the rare stories. I think. Hey, audience, let's have democracy in the chat. One last time. One final thing. Democracy in the chat.
Yes.
Type 3 if this is a feel-good story. Type 4 is like, oh, I feel bad for CNN. We're moving.